And then I'm gonna show you a close-up because I think what I'm about to show you is really important to see up close. Hey you, what up? Welcome to my channel. Welcome back. Maryam here. And in today's video, I have a new powder to test out and review. It's the Huda Beauty Easy Bake and Snatch pressed powder, and I am so excited to test this one out. I already have it on my face and I'm trying so hard not to give away anything, so you'll have to watch this video in its entirety because I am going to conduct a wear test, a full, thorough, honest review. I'm gonna give you some swatches of the lightest shades that I have and all the deets. So with that said, remember to subscribe if you aren't already, notification bell for those Wednesdays and Sundays videos. And now let's get into it. Huda Beauty Easy Bake and Snatch pressed powder review, wear test, and verdict. Let's hit it. The Easy Bake pressed powder is supposed to be the pressed powder version of Huda Beauty's loose setting powder. And I got this cute PR package here, pressed to snatch. I already pressed, I already snatched. We've got 3 different shades of the pressed powder. I have it in shade Banana Bread, which is supposed to match my skin tone. And then I have it in 2 brightening shades. Cupcake, which is like a neutral, and then also Cherry Blossom Cake, which is the pressed powder version of the Cherry Blossom Cake loose powder. And also I have a whole bunch of really cute sponges here. Some heart-shaped ones, some triangle-shaped ones. So I'm gonna be utilizing all of this today. I gotta say, I am personally very excited for this. I feel like this is what I wanted to see from Huda Beauty, the brand. I really wanted to see a super amazing medium to full coverage pressed powder, almost like a powder foundation. And so I feel like this might be it, but maybe not. So I'm here to review it. All right, so first things first, I'm gonna swatch these on my face. I'm gonna start with the shade Cupcake. Should also probably show you the reference that I have here. Cupcake is meant for the lightest of skin tones, and then Cherry Blossom Cake is obviously the pink brightening powder that any skin tone can use as long as you like that look. And then Pound Cake is meant for like a medium skin tone, which is probably closer to what I am, but I did not get that shade. Banana Bread is what I got, just Huda's shade, but it'll probably work for me as well. So here is Easy Bake Cupcake. Oh, I just realized there is a cute little sponge on the bottom here, and this kind of swings out fairly easily. It doesn't actually close. It just swings open. I'm gonna pick up just a little bit of product, and I guess I'll swatch this on my jawline. That actually looks pretty pigmented. This is meant to be medium coverage, but it's looking rather full to me. All right, so now let's go for Easy Bake Cherry Blossom Cake, the pink one. You can clearly see the undertone difference between those two. And then last but not least, we have Banana Bread, which has a little bit more of a golden yellow undertone. Oh wow, there you have it. 3 different shades. All right, so here we have Huda's tips or her hacks. For an extra snatched look, she likes to use the Easy Bake loose powder, and she bakes with it, and then finish with the Easy Bake pressed powder for targeted brightening and lifting. For a soft matte finish, she likes to use a loose fluffy brush to apply the Easy Bake and Snatch all over to set her makeup. I like that. Or you can also use a small brush or the powder sponge to target smile lines and snatch your under eye. Or you could take it on the go with you for touch-ups. Okay, that's pretty much self-explanatory, and that's kind of how I thought I would use it in this video. I wanted to just try different methods. So I have all of my brushes here right in front of me. I'm gonna remove this, and then I'm gonna do my makeup as I normally would, and then I'll apply the powder in different ways. So now first things first, I'm gonna grab my blurring balm powder from DANESSA MYRICKS. If it's your first time watching my video, don't make fun of me. I am determined to use up this product because it is my favorite. But don't worry, I do have a brand new one. Also, I should probably mention, if you don't know me and you are just watching this video for the review, I am an oily skin type, so I like to use this blurring balm powder from DANESSA MYRICKS to control my oils, because to me this is the best oil controlling primer I've ever tried. It is formulated with Upsolite, and it's a known ingredient for oil control, and it also smooths the texture because it gets rid of that shine. Okay, so now for my foundation. I don't know why I grabbed this Pat McGrath shade Medium 18. This is literally the shade that I use to cover up my tan lines on my chest. So it doesn't quite match my face. It matches more my shoulder and like my arm, but you're gonna ignore that. This is what we're using. But luckily this foundation is pretty sheer, and my skin right now is on the good side. Usually I start to break out around this time of the year, around October, September. It's September, Maryam. Around September, October being my birthday month, is when I start to to freak out a little bit. My skin starts to freak out and I start breaking out, but so far so good. My skin is on the clear side and I'm thankful to the skin gods. Yeah, this is definitely the shade that is better suited to hide my tan lines on my chest. But to make it work, I'm gonna actually use a much brighter concealer. So this will sort of serve as like my bronze and contour. And right now I'm using the Dress Your Face Flawless Foundation brush. This is even darker than my neck. Okay, she's looking very, very bottle tanned, but she's not. Next thing I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna reach for the Faux Filter Corrector, also from HUDA. Why can't I speak today? I don't know. Also from HUDA. This is in the shade Pink Pomelo. I'm gonna add just a dab of that to my under eye, just to color correct and brighten this whole area. Also like to brighten right here in the stash area because that area on me seems to be very green. Okay, and now for the concealer. Like I said, I'm gonna go brighter, so I'm gonna reach for my stash of Makeup by Mario concealers. I'm gonna go for a brighter shade than I would typically use, say shade 180. Typically I use a 240, but I'm gonna go for like a peachier, much brighter color. That's bright. Because I already color corrected, I'm not gonna need as much concealer. Cat hair is everywhere. Maybe this is brighter than I need. I'm gonna use my foundation brush to blend out here in between the brows and into the forehead just to brighten up this complexion a little bit. I'm gonna brighten around the nose like I always do. Guys, I'm so happy. Fashion week is over. It was the craziest, the most anxious time of the recent 3 months for me. It was just so many events, so many people, so many different brands to deal with. And you know, as much as I am grateful for the opportunities and it is a part of my job, at the same time, I'm also so relieved that it is over because sometimes New York effing week is how I like to refer to it lovingly. Sometimes it just brings out not the best side of people and brands. There's a lot of pretentiousness going on. There's a lot of brands treating creators like tools, you know, as opposed to treating them like people. It's been a rough fashion week. Although I will say not every event was rough. Last night I went to an amazing event and it was just like the perfect ending to a really hectic week. And so not everything was intense. Some things were actually really, really nice. But I will say wholeheartedly, I am glad it's over. And now it's time for the Halloween craze to begin. That's another thing that's a big trend. It's a big moment in the beauty community. And now that the world has opened back up, it's been back for what? At least a year now. I'm already starting to get used to events, you know? But I suspect that Halloween will be a massive thing this year. And not just for the beauty community, but for the regular consumer and for just like the everyday person. I don't quite remember Halloween last year. I think I might have been traveling or I skipped it or something was going on. Ah yes, it's because my birthday falls around Halloween time and I always feel like a hermit. And so last year I finally decided I'm gonna take myself out of my hole. I'm gonna take myself on vacation. And I think that is exactly what we did. So no Halloween for me last year, but this year, actually, I'm also going away for my birthday this year. But I have a feeling I'm gonna have to make both work. Birthday and my professional Halloween content. I suspect there will be lots of Barbies and Kens. Perhaps maybe also lots of Haleys and Justins. Okay, this looks very, very glam. Just because of the contrast between the skin tone and then the brightening tone. But I think this is good. This is good. This is what we're going for. We are testing these Easy Bake and Snatch pressed powders. So that is what I'm going to do. So first and foremost, I'm gonna grab the pink shade, Cherry Blossom Cake. I'm gonna grab one of the sponges. One of these baby sponges, actually. I don't know how clean they are, but I don't really care. I'm gonna load some up onto my sponge and I'm gonna press that in to set my under eye. Wow, that actually set it pretty solid. Whew, that looks extremely smooth. Like I see no lines whatsoever and I like what I see. So I'm gonna test the other shade on the other side and you know, that may potentially look kind of crazy if I do go out today. And today is Friday, so I might actually go out. But you know what? I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna load up shade Cupcake on the same sponge. I'm gonna press and set that under eye. Okay, I'm seeing a little bit of a difference between the shades. In fact, this one actually looks a little bit brighter than the pink. The pink somehow still looks a little bit more color correcting. So I think I'm gonna add a pinch of that pink just to the inner corner of my under eye. Girl, that is bright. That is bright. But okay, so now, as Huda said, I'm gonna grab a big fluffy brush. Don't actually have a big fluffy brush handy. Instead, I have the Dress Your Face flat powder brush, which is a really, really nice brush for what I'm about to do. Just gonna dip this brush into this powder, shade Banana Bread. And I'm gonna lightly set my face, starting from the jawline, traveling all the way up into the cheek. Notice I didn't contour or anything. Okay, I like the fact that this powder, because it's a brightening powder, it kind of softened the effect of my darker foundation on my face. And now it's looking a little bit more like me as opposed to an orange face. The finish is very, very flawless. It is giving velvety, it's giving matte, it's giving perfection, but I haven't actually set every single part. So now I'm gonna take the cupcake. I'm gonna grab a big sponge, big triangle sponge, swirl that in there, and I'm actually going to attempt to bake and snatch the center of the face, the smile lines, the porous zones, the nose fold. I recently learned from Jackie Aina to puff out your face like this when setting your smile lines, and it is a game changer. So, puffer fish face. And maybe that is my thumbnail? I don't know. Okay, so I realize I might have gone a little bit overboard here, but the good thing about powder is that you can easily tap it off. And so I'm gonna use the same brush from before. I'm just gonna gently remove some of that light color from the center of my face because it is looking a little bit too harsh, a little bit too mask-like. I mean, I guess if I was going for a full glam, this could work, especially if I added blush, bronzer, highlighter. So now I'm gonna set my lids, and then I'm gonna show you a close-up because I think what I'm about to show you is really important to see up close. Okay, so the face is set, and it's looking kind of good and flawless from far away, but unfortunately, I feel like this is emphasizing my texture and my pores. Unfortunately, I don't think this powder is fine enough for texture. You can see all of these bumps that I do have. Yes, I do have bumps, and yes, I do have some texture here and some acne scars here, but I've been able to take care of that lately with my Lunar Beauty loose powder, and also with my Bare Minerals, Mineral Veil. This just seems to be a little bit too heavy for such a delicate area. Yeah, I'm not really sure if I like how it looks in person. Even in my iPhone camera, it didn't look as bad as it looks in my mirror. And I guess that was always a thing for me with Huda Beauty's powders. I just didn't feel like they were fine enough for pores and for texture skin, for bumps. I thought the powder was heavy enough to cover up major imperfections such as wrinkles, but if they're smaller, more detailed texture issues, it actually kind of emphasized them and made them a little bit worse. So that's kind of how I feel right now at my first impression. Of course, I don't know how this will wear, and probably throughout the day this will mix in with my oils and the texture will smooth. Also, perhaps this is a powder that looks best on camera and not so much in real life. Or maybe I just applied way too much powder. I don't know. I'm not really sure what is going on, but I'm not loving the result. At least not for the porous zones. I do like how the powder outside of this section here, which seems to be bumpy and bumpier than it looked without anything on. But I will say I do like the way that the powder looks all over my face when applied with a much larger brush and not with a puff. But right now, as is, it's just looking and feeling a little bit too heavy for my liking. Perhaps I can fix this by adding my mineral veil on top. And if I do, I will definitely update you with my phone. Yeah, so for now, let's see how this wears. I'm skeptical. I'm not really crazy about the way that this looks. Maybe I don't have the right shade. Maybe I also went a little bit too deep on my foundation shade. There's a lot happening here. And my opinion shifted rather quickly. So I guess let's cue in that good old time warping music for a check-in and for that wear test. Let's see how it goes. Oh my gosh, yeah, so I was able to add a little bit of blush and a little bit of the Bare Minerals Mineral Veil powder to hide the pores a little bit. It did help with the pores, but I think, sadly, the two shades that I used are probably a little bit too light for my under eye, or maybe I needed to use a different color foundation, but color is not really the issue here. What I am mostly concerned about is the texture. I am just not liking how textured my face looks up close. I'm gonna show you one more close up because this is a check-in. Do you see what I mean? It's just not amazing looking. It's just rough and not cute. My skin is on the good side right now. This is making me look so porous and so textured. Even my forehead, look at that. Let's see how it wears. Okay, check-in number 2. I am in direct sunlight and this looks terrible. This skin finish has got to go. I feel like this powder has aged me. It's made my skin look so much worse than without any product, and I think I'm gonna remove it. I just cannot go outside and face the world with this face. I'm not comfortable and I'm not confident. I don't know if I've applied too much product. I don't know what it is, but it's just not looking good. Okay guys, I am back and this is my skin at the end of the day, but I did actually remove and redo my makeup completely after that last check-in. I did not like the way that my skin was looking. I did not like the way my face was looking. I just had to remove it and redo it all together. So what I did was I applied my actual shade of foundation, Makeup by Mario, shade 14-0, which is what I'm currently wearing. And then I applied a concealer and I set my concealer and also kind of like the center of the face with the Lunar Beauty setting powder. Now, I did actually reach for the Huda Beauty Easy Bake and Snatch pressed powder in the shade Banana Bread, and I lightly dusted that all over my face. So this is what my face looks like with that technique at the end of the day. This still looks very much textured. My forehead looks a little bit more oily than I like it to look. I've only been wearing this for about 5 or 6 hours, and I would say the perimeter of my face looks okay. I don't really get super oily there, but I can't say that I love this. I can't say that this powder is fine enough for someone with my skin type. For someone who has acne scars and a little bit of bumps and a little bit of texture and oily skin at that, I feel like this is just not fine enough. This is a little bit too heavy, and in fact, because it's so heavy, it tends to emphasize the texture and kind of cling on to all the little crevices, and it tends to magnify them. At least it does on me. Even when applied lightly, it doesn't make my skin look better. And it doesn't matter what I wear underneath. It doesn't really matter the technique that I use to apply it. Yes, granted, it is okay looking, but my skin is actually at its best right now. So I can't imagine what this powder would look like had I been breaking out, had I been post a breakout with lots of acne scars and bumps and uneven texture. Yeah, so those are kind of like my thoughts. This is my experience. This doesn't mean that I don't love the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Setting Powder, specifically in Cherry Blossom Cake. This is one of my favorite under eye setting powders, and I like to use a brush and I like to set my under eye very lightly with that powder. But for me, the color, the brightening factor of that powder is just so nice, and sadly, I cannot compare it to this. This, in fact, feels very, very heavy. I don't really feel like you can set your face with it. Perhaps you could use it to snatch the nose and brighten the sides of the nose to like a reverse contour. Perhaps that would work, but I feel like that would be such a specific way of using this powder that it wouldn't necessarily be universal. So sadly and unfortunately, it's a pass for me. This was not a great wear test. This was not a great trial. In my initial test, the makeup looked very, very heavy. It made me look older than I am. It made my skin look aged, and it just wasn't flattering, period, point blank. That's what I'm trying to say. That is my review. That is my story. That is my experience, and I am happy to share it here with you. Hopefully it'll help some of you guys. Once again, I am a very oily skin type, so perhaps if you have a normal skin type, this might be the powder for you. Maybe you like that heavy sort of feeling on your makeup. Maybe you like that really bright but very makeup-y looking finish. Sadly, that is not me, and that is not what I was hoping to achieve with this particular product, but that's okay, and I'm sure there will be others from Huda and from other brands that I will love. So on that note, I am going to end this video, and I'm going to say farewell to you guys. Peace out. I'm out. More videos over here. I love you. Mwah. Deuces.